One thing you may not have realized is it's 15 years between the time we first see Mr. Incredible in the beginning of the first film to the time where he has a family. 14 years ago, I was in the prime of my life. I was in my early 20s and I looked like a superhero. 14 years later, here I am, married. I've got my own little Jack and a few other things, and coincidentally, Incredibles 2 comes out. And it's kind of odd how much I actually relate to Bob Parr in both phases, trying to be a role model, but at the same time, later on in life, trying to do what's right for your family. But the fact is, much like Bob, I wouldn't trade a minute of those 14 years, because you know what I've learned in that time? Sometimes you feel on par, and sometimes you feel incredible. Kind of amazing how much you can relate to a fictional animated character with superpowers. It is with all humility that I tell you that I've actually been compared to Mr. Incredible a couple times by past students and by friends, and you know what? Whether it was meant to be insulting or not, the fact is I take it as a compliment. Whether it's about the build or the fact that he's the patriarch of a family, that character is a really good role model. Now, while I really enjoyed the original Incredibles because of its stylized fun, it was James Bond meets Silver Age comic book heroes, I was in my young 20s. Young 20s Mike was not the gentleman's gentleman you see before you. I did not contain the wisdom of age. For example, at the time of the original's release, I was dating a redhead. So what I'm saying is I expected to sit down in the theater and enjoy Incredibles 2 for the exact same reason as redhead dating Mike, but I actually enjoyed it for all new reasons. Although one of the reasons was very familiar when it comes to Disney Pixar films. I've recently gone on to praise the subtext of equality in a streak of Disney and Pixar films lately, whether it's the racial and social equality of Disney's Zootopia or Moana's very equal gendered partnership. And once again, I don't know how many times I have to say this, I'm not talking about that Frozen bullshit where the guys are either villains or simpletons. Villains or simpletons, the only two kinds of people that work for the GOP. Well, old school conservatives aren't going to like this one much either, because like Finding Dory, this long-awaited Pixar sequel is actually her turn. It centers on Elastigirl's story. And why not? Mr. Incredible got his adventure in the first one, let's give one to Elastigirl. In this new Hollywood that's inching closer and closer to true equality, still a long way to go, this is another good step. We got Wonder Woman, now we get Elastigirl's story in an animated feature. So I hate to kind of do this in today's environment, but I'm going to go back and talk about Mr. Incredible again. Sorry. That has a lot to do with the fact that I can't actually relate with a superheroine once again thrust into the spotlight, but what I can relate to is a man who supports and sacrifices for his family. A man that occasionally stays home so that his wife can further her career. And that's not meant to belittle Elastigirl's story at all. It is the central story. It's just that I relate to Bob because I personally married a superheroine. A strong woman, a teacher, a naval officer, and mother. And like I mentioned before, I've got my own Jack. Yes, as I saw that scene originally in the trailer and then in the final film, I laughed my sleep-deprived ass off when Bob is drifting away reading a Dr. Seuss-esque book. And every time Jack was on screen, I pretty much laughed my ass off, in both Incredibles films actually. If you haven't done so already, make sure you've watched Jack Attack, a short little animated film which was a part of the original Incredibles release, and it is amazing. Once again, like he did in the original Incredibles, Jack stole the show. And it's not even about what he does in the forefront of the action, it's what the animators have him doing in the background that make him so much fun to watch and such a rich character. And it got me thinking. If the original Incredibles was Bob's story, and the second one was Helen's, give the third one to the kids, because with Jack, you have a for the win. Wait, I don't know. Only one for the win? Yeah, you're right, Other Me. There was another aspect of this film that I absolutely loved, and you know what? It's kind of ironic considering all the things I had to say about the progressive partnership between the Parrs and equality. Racism. What? No. It was the aesthetic of the film. From the opening credits, to the gadgets, to the automobiles, to the mid-century architecture, it was kind of silver-aged in that classic, oh my god, I know exactly what he's saying. That era was super racist. Okay, I'll try and fix things again by reiterating the message of the film, which is support and inclusion. But I will get us right back on track, because another aspect that I really loved, that really helped cap off an awesome retro look of the film, was Michael Giacchino's amazing score, assuming the Other Me doesn't ruin this one. No, we're good. He's awesome. He is awesome, and I've loved his music ever since he did the score for Lost. But since then, he's done Fringe, Star Trek, and pretty much every Pixar film in the last decade. It's just that he knows how to create the best vibe for everything he does. And his Incredibles 2 score seems like an audition piece for a future Bond film. And that's why Giacchino's score is the 2.5 for the win. Yes, the movie is that good. It's still a blast to watch. It's still got that tongue-in-cheek satirical edge about the superhero genre, and it's still funny as hell. But you know what? When I compare the two Incredibles films, I think I like them the same amount, but for drastically different reasons. Maybe that's what 14 years does to a person, but all I know is both of them are still an earn it. Whew, a lot of inner turmoil with that review. Poll question, what film do you love so much that you want to see a sequel of it no matter how long you have to wait? As always, leave your answers in the comment section below. But until next time, school's out. Hey Real students, thanks for watching. If you want to subscribe to Real School, click that round Real School logo right beside me. Also click that damn notification bell so you're aware of all of Real School's new content. You can follow me on Twitter, and of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link in the description below or the button down there, and you can become part of my Patreon team.